Alright, we're going to be watching a game by Derpithrax, who is going to play Sigma briefly, and then Junker Queen. We're only watching the third point of Ilios, and we're doing something different. We're going to start off by watching the opposing Genji first, and then switch to their POV. How to stop Genji going through supports as a tank. This is an Ilios game from last night. We lost the first, won the second in a lockout, and then lost the third where I got chewed out by supports on last map for not switching to Orisa because we would have won automatically. I don't agree with that. The thing is that I'm looking at the game now, and Genji's just slicing through my supports, and they're dying instantly. I switched to Junker Queen to try and DPS down the Genji, but it doesn't seem to make much difference. I know that as a tank, I should be taking space and causing problems with the squishies to force them to back off without risking myself, but I don't know what to do in these situations where my team drops dead all around me. Any advice? So there's actually a lot of comments on this post, but there's nobody who's actually seems to have actually watched the the replay, which personally annoys me. Like I think that's kind of ridiculous. People just kind of like guess what the problem is or give you generally unhelpful advice. So I figure, hey, look, I'll just do a quick one. We're going to focus again on the Genji, the tank versus Genji aspect. So the first thing is, before we talk about how to deal with Genji, I want to review your assumption, right? You are assuming that the Genji is the reason that you lost this fight, and that the Genji was the one who's killing all your supports, and as a result, you were losing the fight. So let's watch, okay? So there's, I think, like 5-ish team fights in this round, and so I'm going to watch, play the game back from the Genji's perspective to see what's going on. So he's going to start here, just spamming, it's fine. Right, you're walking up there as Sigma, so again, for anyone watching this video who's not OP, OP is the Sigma here. Alright, takes a little spam there, does a little deflect. For the record, he deflected your attack, which helped get the soldier low. He's going to follow up to get the dash kill. From here, he's going to have a dash reset. He sees that you're using rock. He's going to dash through again, kills the brig, which gives him another dash reset. Moira fades away. He's just chilling right now, looking for your squishies, working you down. Dash through again. Kills your Moira, and then the Bastion dies, and then you're going to die here. So I would say, yes, the Genji had a massive effect on this first fight, right? For sure. I agree that the Genji effectively won this first fight for the opposing team. Let's see the next fight. Just chilling here. Spamming. Spamming. Alright, skip forward a little bit. Still spamming. Still nothing happened, right? Still just spamming. I think we'd all agree Genji's done nothing of consequence at this moment in time. Still spamming, still spamming. Still spamming. He just spammed to the ground there for some reason. Attacks you a little bit, not doing a ton of damage here. Just spamming. Still just spamming. Still hasn't done anything, I would say, meaningful. Okay, he slashes through, he dashes through. That's a good chunk of damage, but it's only 50 damage against 3 targets. Some people are low already, but that's not because of the Genji, right? It's not like he worked them down. Other people are doing that damage. Like, that's the reason why, what is this? Your brig right now is so low, and why your Moira is low. It's not from the Genji. Other people on the enemy team are doing that damage. So he's going for the brig, kills the brig, and he's going to die. So, yes, he killed a squishy, right? He killed a support, but he also died, so he just traded. So it's a 1-for-1 trade, which is okay. You know, like, that's not devastating. Trading is just relatively speaking equal. If you traded a DPS, it would be equal. Trading for support is, depending on the situation, slightly better, slightly worse. Again, depending on the situation. So I don't think he carried this fight by any means. I mean, he did have the initial engage here where he commits by dashing through the team. But, like, again, I would note is that he only did 50 damage there. The rest of his damage is coming from the other members of the team. And then he doesn't even kill the brig there where he should have right away. And then the junk's going to kill him. So, I think it's about neutral, right? I have a system for figuring out, like, what's your impact to a fight, which is, like, +1 is you impacted the fight significantly and deserve to win. -1 is you made a bunch of mistakes, you deserve to lose. And 0 is neutral. I would qualify this as 0, right? First fight, +1. This fight, 0. You know, he gets a kill, but he also dies, so same thing. Right, he comes out again. They still have control of the point. Again, note that the Genji was dead there, right, after killing the brig, and they still won the point. Or at least defending successfully. Still here, just spamming. Gets the Junker low. Wants to go for the kill. Definitely some mechanical issues. He could have killed the Junkrat at least 4 separate times here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate times he had chances to kill this Junkrat and failed them all. So this is no superstar Genji over here. And then he's going to walk away, turn his back on the Junkrat, and Junkrat's going to just walk up to him and one-tap him. So I would say this is -1, right? He dies, gets no value, and now you're up 5-on-4. So we're going to skip ahead. I would note, again, they still have control of the point. Your team is slowly capping. He's coming out. Your team has gotten some kills and has control of the point. So this is the next team fight. They really shouldn't be pushing this at all because they're down 3 players, and he backs out. Great. So he's just chilling here. Still just chilling. For the record, Brig's super good against Genji. Right, still just chilling. Nothing of consequence is happening here. Still just chilling. Still chilling. He took a bunch of damage there. That was mostly from Helix, the Brig did. That was not from Genji slash. So if we roll that back, Genji Shurikens rather, you're gonna see the Brig here. So Genji can only do 27 damage per Shuriken, so I know this wasn't the Shuriken. See, only one Shuriken I think hits the Brig, maybe two. The Helix right here direct is 120 or 130. I can't remember what status it is after the recent patches, but about 120 damage right there. That's what does all the damage to the Brig, not the Genji. He could have dashed right there to get the kill. Right, he dashes in, tries to get the kill, fails. Right, he pops Blade. This is a dry Blade, which is obviously typically not a good idea unless you know people are already low, which they were low, but not anymore by the time he pops Blade. He's going to go straight into a Blade, and then he's going to die here. This is a massive throw. So he wasted ultimate and got 0 value out of it and flew into a trap. This is a big -1 for him. So far we're at +1, 0, -1, -1. So he has a -1 score overall, which is not good, right? I think that if this was representative of his overall gameplay in the game, I would expect him to lose this match. So going back over here. All right, he's trying to work the Genji down. He pops Deflect way too early. Attacks a little bit, right? Still just poking. Still more poke. Walks in a little bit. Dashes through. Pokes more. Brig dies. Not really from him. He did a little bit of damage there, but mostly not from him. Cassie's gonna die there. That Cassie was dead no matter what, right? This Cassie has no health right next to the Sigma and the Moira. Like, this Cassie is dead. Like, the Genji has done 0 damage so far. This Cassie is dead. The Genji here is not particularly meaningful, right? And at this point in time, I think it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 2. So whatever the Genji does from here is irrelevant. Like, all of the losing happened before this Genji did anything of consequence. And that's the game. So, revisiting. Was Genji the reason that you lost this third round? Absolutely not, right? Like, the first fight, yeah, like, for sure. Like, he definitely carried in that first fight. The second fight, he traded, so, like, neutral. Basically, it's a 4-4. The third and fourth fight, he just died and did nothing. So, those are clear -1s. And the fifth fight, he didn't really get around to doing anything because your team just got steamrolled anyway. Okay? So, I want to emphasize here, it is not the Genji's fault or reason, right? Genji is not the reason why you lost this match. So, let's replay this from your perspective and talk through what you should have done differently. And it's tricky because I also want to talk through like how to play against Genji, but it's not particularly relevant. You know what I mean? Like if you watch it, like as we've seen from watching the gameplay, the fact that the Genji was in the game actually wasn't that impactful. So I can talk about how important it is to poke him down, work on deflect, etc. But that's not actually going to be valuable because that's not the reason why you lost. So let's watch from your perspective. So first fight, right? You're just spamming people, great. Genji used deflect, right? This is an opportunity for you to walk forwards. No one's stopping me, walk forwards. Because the Sigma's on point. He should not be on point. This is a mistake. The Sigma should be up here. If the Sigma wants to play on point, great. Just walk forwards. You're like virtually invincible as a tank against this particular lineup. Just walk forwards, attack the Moira, force fade, great. Walk into the soldier, attack him, force him to sprint away, great. Attack the Lifeweaver, force him to dash back, great. Only Sigma here, walk on point, kill him, game over, right? Like, it seems like you might listen to me hear that or say that and think, oh, like that seems so easy. It really is that easy. Like, there's literally nothing this Moira can do. Like, we can agree, hopefully. The Moira cannot stop you from pushing into her, right? There's no way Moira can beat you. So after you take care of the Moira, you walk into the soldier. Can the soldier beat you? He might, but you have shield and you have rock. So you just put the shield up. He can maybe beat you if you didn't have shield, but like if you have, a 700 health shield, you have 1250 health. The soldier's not going to beat through 1250 health. You're going to force him to run away, probably to go get the Mega over here. And from there, you go to get Lifeweaver. Lifeweaver obviously can't beat you, so Lifeweaver's going to have to dash away, and then it's just a Sigma isolated on point, and then you fight him and you win, right? And whatever this Genji's going to be doing in your backline. So, number one is, you need to push. Like, if the enemy's giving you the opportunity to walk forwards, right? Like, if I see this Genji dash in, I'm like, whatever. Like, it is what it is. Like, Genji gets kills or not, like, it doesn't matter. I have to walk forwards and start getting kills over here. Going for the rock right now, after you saw him get a kill, you see him get the kill right now, and hopefully you have audio cues turned on for when teammates die. So, right now, the Genji got a kill, he has a dash reset. So when you pop rock right here, he can dash out of this whenever he wants to. That's a big mistake to waste rock right now, and now you got no value. So, if we look at this from the vertical view, right? So why are we losing here? Okay, so watch this in terms of space. So right now you're controlling this area right here. Okay, this back line and then the mega more or less. As the Genji goes in, right? Bastion's over here shooting, great, excellent. As the Genji goes in, you see how your whole team is going backwards right now. And then their team is also coming forwards, which allows them to start shooting your backline. Right? The soldier doesn't even need to be shooting your shield, honestly, right? But he's going to walk forwards and keep pressuring you. And you're going to see how everyone has now, what used to be, hey, look, we had this space that's safe. Now we have no space that's safe other than this room, because their team is just collapsing into you. Now, part of that's because the Genji got a kill, but you can't really stop that. But you could have stopped this whole section from pushing in, and you could have forced them over fade. You could have killed the soldier. You could have killed the life weaver. You got a lot of options here. Do I think you ultimately would have won this fight? Probably not, but you need to make the best play that is available to you, right? You can't wish that your teammates, you can't have better teammates, in the moment. Everyone's going to make mistakes. Just play the best that you can with what you've got. So that's first fight. Let's talk about the second fight. So you come out with Junker Queen. I agree that Junker Queen is better against Genji, but like only marginally. like a little bit. Sigma has options, right? You can rock Genji out, you can poke him down, you can flux blade as well. Junker Queen has the ability to use shout, which is super strong against Genji, against all dive. And you can poke him down, you can chase him down easier, you can knife him. You can't axe through deflect, so not as good in that sense, but it's not like a clear, oh yeah, there's a Genji, let me go Junker Queen, that will deal with the problem. If you're going to go any tank against Genji, Winston is far and away the best tank against Genji. Like, overwhelmingly so much better. None of Genji's abilities do anything to Winston. Winston can chase the Genji around, like, anywhere, at any time, and he's crazy strong against Genji. So, we're going to go up here. So, what's my goal here, Junker Queen? Well, my goal here is to bypass the tank, and I want to go after the backline. So I want to come this way, I can go this way, right? I could even isolate the Sigma potentially from the team if the whole team backs up. I got some options here, but I definitely need to be going in at some point in time. So you notice that you have a free lane to attack here. Like, the Sigma's not looking at you, he just used rock, he's attacking your team. You have the option right now to walk forwards and take this space away from them and contest it. And that's going to force the Moira back to here, right? And that's going to force the Genji back as well. But instead, you just poke a little bit, and then you turn back and you go back. So this is really bad, right? Because you're full health, you have all of your cooldowns right now, I think. Yeah, you have all your cooldowns, you just do knife. There's no reason to not be pushing forward. Like, the fight is never going to get better than it is right now unless you happen to get a pick on your team. Like, someone else gets a pick, which is not a great thing to rely on, right? If I have the opportunity to push forward, I should push forward. This is the fundamental, like, tanking 101. Create space. Your team can't do anything if they're forced to sit all the way back here. If you can go up and take this area at least, your team can walk up, get angles, and get kills. So you go for the axe. So I would note here, the mechanics are poor, quite poor. So Moira's here. You miss a full shot. You miss a full second shot. You have the option to get a third shot there, by the way. You go for axe even though you know Moira has fade because you haven't seen Moira get fade, so you should always assume enemies have their abilities unless you've seen them use it, and you're going to miss the axe. That's unfortunate. Like, I think it's really important as tank that you got to be able to do some damage to, like, pressure the enemy. If you can't do damage, like, Overwatch at its core is still a first-person shooter. If you're not good at the shooting part, it doesn't matter how good your game sense is or ability usage, you're going to lose games. So you're going to pop shout right now, and let's think about this. So you run all the way up here. For the record, you have one ammo, and you have no axe. And you're walking into them, and you have no LOS on any teammates right now. You're also not low. You're only missing 75 health. Each bar is 25 health. So why are you popping shout right now? Do you know? Right? Do you think, like, oh, I'm going to pop shout because shout is going to accomplish X? If you think, oh, I'm going to use shout to push into the enemy team, first of all, you're already in the enemy team. I don't need shout to go anywhere. Right? So that's A. B, this is a bad time to push because I don't have any ammo. I should at least reload before I start this push. So it's not great. Now, another option is that, hey, I might be using it to protect my teammates because maybe my teammates are low. But none of your teammates are in LOS, so the shout's not going to do anything. You also never look to see if your teammates were in danger. So that's not going to do anything either. So this is a problem, right? This is the reason why you lose games, is because, or why all players lose games, is you use your abilities, you do things that have no purpose and give you no value, and as a result, you end up losing games. So you're going to end up using Shout here. So now you've wasted Shout and you've wasted Axe, you have no ammo, and you have no presence right now. You're just standing here as basically an inert, like training dummy, because you can't do any damage at this moment in time because you have no ammo and you have no Axe. You have Knife, but that's it, right? See, you have to reload in their face. And you see they're all like, oh, shoot, you're in our face. But they kind of back out for a little bit, and then they're like, wait a second, you're not actually hurting anyone. So then they walk right back in. Like, look at their body language. Okay? Watch. You're going to go in here. You pop Shout. You see immediately everyone backs away, which is the correct move. But then they're like, hey, no one's getting hurt. You're not actually using Axe. You're not using Knife. You're not doing anything. And the soldier immediately runs back in to start trying to light you up. Like, that's a good example of, like, as a tank, you should realize, I've messed up. Like, I have made a mistake trying to push right now when this is not a good time to push. Like, the worst feeling as a tank is when you try to rush or dive or whatever into the enemy, and then they start charging into you. Because that almost always signals that I have made a bad read on the situation by thinking that I could get an advantage when I do not, in fact, actually have an advantage. So over here, I would note again, your aim is, like, a huge issue. Right? So you got a melee there. You have 8 ammo right now. Right? You don't even take that shot right there, even though grasp ends. You have the Life Weaver point blank next to you that you could do, again, 80 damage per shot with shotgun is no joke. You can kill squishes in 3 shots. This shot is not even close to the Life Weaver. Right? And so you use Shout for nothing. And now you don't have Shout for another 14 seconds. Right? You Shout to do 50 damage to a pedal platform. You're going to lose games if that happens. Like, it's really, really important that you got to do damage in order to burn through enemy resources. So now you're pushing right now. This is a great time if you actually had Shout, because now things are going to get a little sticky for you. Genji walks in with Deflect. You go for the Axe Swing. For the record, Genji can deflect Axe Swing. He dashes through. And then now, here, you could, for example, zone the enemy team, right? You just play this pillar, just like poke, 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 like keep the enemy team from walking into you. But instead, you're going to walk backwards and look for the Genji. I'd like to note that your panic is so strong right now that you're going to miss this axe, and then you shoot the pillar, and then you shoot this wall. There's no enemies on your screen, for the record. And then you shoot your low health Moira. Thank God there's no friendly fire in Overwatch. So from the moment the Genji dashed in, you did 1 shot here, a 2nd shot here, and a 3rd shot here, right? So 1, 2, 3. At no moment in time was the Genji even visible on your screen. Like, this is very problematic. So now you actually have enemies here. You throw a knife, you miss knife. Looking for a shot. Good fight, finally, good shot on the soldier, right? That did 50-ish damage. It's good, fine, we'll take it. Right, melee to Sigma, you missed that shot, but that's okay. I mean, like, close range can be tough. You missed that shot too. And now you're reloading. Did you run out of ammo? You actually did run out of ammo, okay. So right now, this is a huge moment to pop Shout because you're at 94 health. I would have popped Shout like way before now because you're in grave danger. Right, 30, 40 health, you're extremely lucky to not be dead. Now you finally pop Shout. The problem is, the fight is basically over because you're already missing 2 people. And you're missing 2 people because you're not doing anything. You're not taking space, you're not applying any damage, you're not zoning the enemy tank, you're not zoning the enemy DPS, you're not killing the enemy supports. None of the jobs of support of tank are you doing right now. All you're doing is just walking at them with no ammo, basically with like a rubber mallet, like walking up there, popping your defensive cooldowns, letting them destroy your defensive cooldown, and then walking away and then shooting walls a few times. This is a far bigger problem than whatever the Genji could possibly be doing. Okay. I don't think we need to go through the whole replay review, but like, hopefully you start getting the general idea here. So, Genji's gonna die right now. Okay, great. So, right now, you don't need to walk further backwards, okay? Genji's gonna die right now. Excellent. Perfect. Just start walking forwards. Like, what stops you from walking forwards? Probably not here, because there's a shield here. Why do I go to the left? I go to the left, I can potentially knife pull the soldier and get a kill. At the minimum, I force him to go back from here to, like, over here, behind statue, or to all the way to their side. Right? My team doesn't need me to be standing here. This does not help me in any way, or help them in any way. So Sigma's here, you really can knife him. Yeah, he's out of position right now, great. I would pop Shout right now, because I think it's getting a little dicey, right? Make sure nobody dies, because you have a huge advantage with the tank dead. Right, pop Shout, okay, this is fine. I like the fact that you go with the soldier. I think shooting Moira would also have been okay because she's like in your face, and Moira can in fact be killed with coalescence, especially if she's being focused. But that's fine, right? Pull him. I don't know why you don't kill this soldier though, right? From here, start axe swing, pull him with the knife, and then hit him with the axe and shoot him once, and he dies, even through healing station. Like, you pull him out of position, but then you decide you don't want to kill him. And I think this is maybe like a general mechanics slash like familiar the Junker Queen problem. Like, it doesn't look like you feel comfortable playing Junker Queen the hero. And if you want to climb, you either need to get better at the heroes you're playing or cut out the heroes that you're not good at. Like, maybe, I haven't seen the rest of this replay, but maybe you're much better at Junker, or at Sigma, for example, right? In which case, keep playing Sigma, right? It doesn't matter like what the Genji does, as long as you're playing your hero well, you will win, like all the way up into like low masters at a minimum. Like the hero choice itself doesn't matter too much in the vast majority of situations. So it's good that you walk forwards here, right? That knife's not going anywhere, but that's fine. Your team killed 3, excellent. We're in good shape. All right, so we're just gonna skip forward now. Nothing's happening. Again, if I have all my cooldowns right now, which I do, push forward. No reason not to. The further I push forward, the further back they have to go. So even if they win a fight, like if I push them all the way to their spawn and they finally win a fight here, they have to spend 20 seconds just running to the point to try to touch it. So no reason for me to not keep pushing. So he pops Flux. You use Shout here, which is great, right? I would not group up with your team right now. I don't know if you know how Flux works, but Flux is an AoE ability that picks up a bunch of people. So you don't want to group up with your team. You want to actually separate from your team. So we're going to go over here. You're looking for the Genji. That shot's not even close. You shot it like over there. You look for him. You decide not to keep going after him after deflect, even though he doesn't have dash here. And I think you saw him use dash earlier. So he's going to land right here. And if you've been following, you could have been here, throw a knife, pull him with a knife, and then kill him. So that's a missed opportunity to kill the Genji right there. Alright, so we're just sitting here. Again, like every 5 seconds, go for a knife pull. Why not? Like it's totally free. There's no way you can die. If you pull someone, you might get a kill. And if you get a kill, that's going to be like a huge advantage for the next fight. So soldier over here, you see the soldier is low, right? So you could definitely think about pursuing him. Genji's in. I think that if you're worried about the Genji being a problem right now, you could pop dash, or pop shout. I would pop shout right now because I can see that my Brig has 30 health, so I don't want my Brig to die here. So I would pop shout right now. So you pop shout, but for the record, nobody on your team gets it because you don't have LOS of anybody. If anything, you should have jumped on top of here, then popped shout. But very, very lucky that he goes into the trap and dies. Again, note about mechanics. So the Moira is going to be here. That you fired a shot right there, I believe. So you fired a shot right now. This shot is not close. Alright, then you throw a knife. Knife is not particularly close. You fire another shot over here to the left. That is also not particularly close. Then you go for the axe swing, which actually is on target, but she's going to fade out of it. And then you hit nothing. Hit just thin air. Your aim is going to be a problem. All right, I can't sugarcoat this. Your aim is going to be a huge problem. Like, even at gold on PC, this aim is not good enough. Like, Junker Queen is really, really good at killing squishies. She's, in my opinion, one of the hardest tanks to aim with in the game because of the combination of projectile and hit scan aiming. Plus, like, the melee aim of the axe as well. But, like, you're not demonstrating any sort of, like, real, like, aiming skill in this sense, right? Like, this is, like, super problematic in terms of, like, your value to the team. I would estimate right now that you have total damage since you started playing Junker Queen under 500. I think that's pretty safe to say. I think you're under 500, possibly even under, like, 300. I would literally have like 2,000 damage by now. And like, obviously I'm GM, so it's not like an apples to apples comparison, but I'm just noting like the threshold, like your accuracy right now is like sub 10%. So that's like way too low. I think you got to get to at least like a 35-40% baseline for Junker Queen to be playable at all. Otherwise, you're going to need to play heroes that don't require as much aiming like Reinhardt or Winston. Like, see? Like, that's another example. Like, this shot is just not on time. See? Like, this shot is not on target. Like, the soldier's clearly running to the left, and you're shooting behind him. So, by the way, you should kill the soldier right now. The soldier has run past you, and he's, like, in the middle of 3 people. Just run here, confirm the kill on the soldier real quick, and then go do whatever the heck else you're gonna do. So you're gonna pop Rampage here. I have no idea what caused you to think to pop Rampage right now. I think you think the Moira doesn't have Fade, which is correct, right? So she is vulnerable right now. But the thing is, this is going to end with you ending up behind her. So now you need to chase her down, and she's going to have Fade back in 3 seconds. So you see how you can't even get LOS with the Moira to, like, hit her. And now you waste your ultimate. And as a general rule on tank, if I ever whiff/waste an ultimate, and when I say whiff or waste, I mean like an ultimate that got no value, right? Not like, oh, I popped Grav and they used trance to stop it. That's fine, right? That's normal. Somebody's got to force out trance. That's okay. Like, that's totally fine. But I mean, like, if you pop an ultimate and you literally get nothing done with it, because I don't think you did any more value here than you would have if you just shot the Moira, I would generally assume I'm going to lose the game. Now, you can make tons of mistakes at lower ranks and still climb, but I'm saying that I think if you mentally set as a baseline, look, I gotta get at least some value out of every single ultimate, I think that is a very good strategy to helping yourself to climb, is holding yourself to a higher bar. So, right now, you have Moira here, who I don't think has Fade anymore. Nope, she doesn't have Fade. She has Fade. Okay, she has Moira here who has Fade. You have the Sigma here. What has he used? Sigma just used Grass right now, and you have the Genji come out. I think it's very reasonable to just shout and run to the enemy team and kill them all right now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 against 3 right now. There's no grasp on the Sigma. Yeah, fight it. Just fight it right now. Right? Rock or not? Great, I'll eat the rock. That's fine. Right? Go in. Good knife. One thing to think about when you hit the knife is don't pull right away. Shoot him right now, wait for the dash, now, then pull him back. And then that's an easy kill. So don't always pull right away. You also stop chasing this Moira for some reason. So this is like kind of just general spatial awareness, like object permanence, understanding that you saw the Moira here, right? On your screen, you know the Moira is here because of the line of healing stream. And then the Genji leaves. The Moira's healing the space behind. You can hear this too. Just go kill her. At minimum, force her to fade backwards. Like, this is like a big moment for you where you could potentially get an advantage. Because if the Moira fades backwards, that means she has to walk all the way back and then potentially fade in to try to get, like, healing on her teammates. Alright, that shot's okay, right? You missed the Genji. Again, I hate to keep highlighting this. That first shot, okay, fine, whatever. This shot that you just fired into the air is unacceptable. Like, that is not gonna fly if you want to climb. It isn't. It's not gonna work. You can't be just wasting shots, like, especially when you only have 8. You can't be wasting shots into thin air. Like, if you're a Risa, whatever, but as Junker Queen, no good. So, you missed that shot 1. You missed that shot 2. You hit him with the melee. Then you go for the axe swing. Unfortunately, he's already dashed out. You swing. I think you happen to hit the Genji with the axe. I think very lucky. And then this fight's gonna fall apart, right? So you've already lost 1, 2, 3, 4 people, right? Just you. It's 1 on 5 right now. So that's gonna be the game. So recapping. Is it the Genji's fault that you lost this game? Absolutely not. It has nothing to do with the Genji. As tank, how do you generally deal with Genji? We didn't really cover it in this game because the Genji wasn't really a problem, but I would say, number 1, if you can play heroes that can attack him through deflect, that's great. Number 2, try to poke him down at all times. Number 3, try to use abilities to stop his dash commits when he does end up using them, like, for example, Shout. But again, that's not particularly relevant to this game because the Genji wasn't your problem. Your single biggest problem, number 1, is you're not walking forwards. Followed very closely by number 2, which is when you do walk forwards, you don't do anything because you don't have the mechanics to do anything. Like, you can't hit axes, you can't hit knives, and you can't hit shotgun shots, which means the enemy team can functionally ignore you, kill your whole team, and then kill you. Now, again, part of this might be Junker Queen and, like, your unfamiliarity with Junker Queen, and that's okay. And if you want to learn Junker Queen, I think you should keep playing Junker Queen. But I'm just noting, like, if you think, hey, why did I lose this game? Those are the 2 biggest reasons. Number 1, you don't walk forwards, and number 2, when you do walk forwards, you can't kill anything. Alright, I'm going to stop there. I'll link some Junker Queen resources for you as well, and hopefully this all will be helpful.